The power of sex. When we are talking about sex, we are talking about anal sex, oral sex, and vaginal to penile sex. We are going to be looking at sex out of marriage and sex in marriage. When we are talking about sex out of marriage, we are going to be focusing on premarital sex and extramarital affairs. It is important that we know that sex isn't love. Before we continue into today's topic, if you're watching me now and you're enjoying this content, smash that subscribe button and turn on that notification bell so that when I drop juicy content like this, you'll be the first to watch. If you're a returning subscriber, I love you. And if you have been watching and you haven't smashed that subscribe button yet and turned on that notification bell, please do so. And I love you too. Well, what are we waiting for? Let's roll in. Welcome back. Sex isn't love. Love is a feeling. Love is an emotion. Sex is marriage. And this is why a lot of people who have had premarital sex or sex out of marriage don't enjoy their relationship, don't enjoy the love of being married, don't enjoy being married. Either they are broken up, either they are breaking up, or they are going to break up. So sex isn't just a feeling. And this is why, when people have misunderstandings, you see a couple will have a misunderstanding, and when they are talking and they're having a heated argument, and when you ask them, but I thought you said you love me, or you hear one say, I love you, but I can't be with you. How can you love someone and you wouldn't want to be with the person? But when you look deeply into it, when you discern, you realize that they misunderstood sex for love. And most times, they were intimate before they got married. Now, as a counselor, as a marriage counselor, and I counsel a lot of singles, I've come to realize that, I've come to understand that in this generation, we focus so much on sex that we forget about who the person really is. Sex is a very powerful tool. And this is why when you see two people who have been having sex and the breakup, there's a lot of bitterness, anger, hatred. You hear words like, you used me, you wasted my time. There'll be a lot of insults. But if you look at a relationship that breaks up, maybe there was help involved on both sides, maybe financial, maybe moral help, maybe other sorts of help. There isn't this bitterness, there isn't this regret, this self-pity, this hatred and malice that steams up from it. This is to show us that sex is a very powerful tool. Who you have sex with can make or destroy your destiny. Sex has the power to break your soul. Sex has the power to drown your soul. Sex has the power to uplift your soul. And in as much as we are looking at health issues, how sex affects, different parts of us, your emotional and mental health is very important. And this is why I'm doing this video. I'm doing this video so you can understand that your emotional health, your soul health, your spirit health, it's very important to your well-being, to your success in life. And I'd like us to break down some things that happen when we have sex out of marriage and when we have sex in marriage. And I want to start with sex in marriage. Sex in marriage is sweet. It's the best sex you can have. You have somebody who will be dedicated to making sure that he pleases you or she pleases you. I'm talking for those who got married for the real reasons of partnership, of vision. Not those who got married for money, fame, and fortune. But sex in marriage is juicy, is connecting. And women enjoy sex in marriage. You know, as a counselor, I've talked to singles, who are having sex out of a marriage and there's no satisfaction. There's something lacking. They're always looking for something that they cannot find. Remember, stolen waters are sweet. And what do I mean by stolen waters are sweet? That means sin, immorality, it's pleasurable. And the environment, the community, certain societies, certain, immoral values will make you understand that it's normal to get into that kind of intimacy, that kind of connection with somebody that you just met. And even some words circulating, some myths, some fallacies would tell you that, oh, how am I going to release the tension? How am I going to release the stress? I have sex with multiple women or with multiple men when I'm stressed to release the tension. It's a state of the mind. Have you ever asked yourself how veterans who have been injured, or people who have had injuries, or people who were not born with all their morphological features intact, let me say they are disabled, how they do? Like, there is this thinking that if you don't have sex, you're going to die. Sex is some food. All of this is in the mind. Because I remember someone sent me a comment under one of my videos telling me that, have I ever heard of disuse syndrome? And I'll talk about that in another video. That if you don't use the organ, if you don't use your penis or your vagina, you're not a human being. In fact, it's going to stop functioning. And I did a video of not having sex for long. And I also did a video on the right age to have sex. I think you should look at it. It's going to empower you. It's going to make you be strong-minded. It's going to uplift you and it's going to give you direction. Now, let's dive into what happens to anyone who has sex out of marriage or premarital sex, or those who have multiple partners just for fun. The first thing is you become a narcissist. And promiscuous. And how does that happen? Broken people, when you sleep with a lot of people, you become a horrible person. People's experience, people's toxic experience and toxic emotions rub on you. In fact, they stick on you. They stick on your spirit, they stick on your soul. And what happens is you become a broken person. And you begin to have multiple partners to seek validation. And at the end, you become so toxic. You assume a lot. You believe everybody is like that person. You don't know how to keep relationships. In fact, even a destiny helper that has been sent into your life to help you, you end up sleeping with the person because you're seeking for so much validation. Your work colleague, you want to sleep with the person. A business partner, an investor in your company, you want to sleep with the person. It doesn't end. You're seeking for constant validation. And note this, sex destroys relationships. Whether it's business, whether it's whatever, if it's not your spouse, it will puncture the relationships. So this is how powerful sex is. The next point is trust issues. There will be so much assumptions. You'll be thinking that everybody's like your ex. When any situation pops up, the bad scenarios or the bad experiences you had will show up in your memory. In fact, you're constantly trying to bleed on everyone that comes into your life. And at the end of the day, you're isolated, you're lonely, you kick into depression, and some people go into suicide. It's something that is not really talked about. Sex is very powerful, guys. And I want you to understand that who you choose to lay with, it's important. And as I mentioned, whether it's anal sex, vaginal, penile sex, or oral sex. This is important. And as a moral person, you should be very watchful. I mean, you should think about it. Not everybody should see you naked. You should have some discipline. You should have some decency, some integrity to you added to you. Not everybody should see you naked. Your body is your sacred temple. You have to honor your body. The way you flaunt yourself at people or people you sleep with, they don't respect you. Have you ever noticed that sex is a thing that will make a man or a woman to disrespect you? That means you will see a man who is a millionaire, who is well placed in society, and he sleeps with a woman, and the woman can call up his phone 2 a.m., 3 a.m., and talk to him anyhow, talk to him, take his cut. That's because sex has happened. And it happens the other way. A man will talk down on you because he has slept with you. So sex is not just what you are seeing, like pleasure, like let me just ease up myself, let me release myself. It has a strong power to control you. Sex has the power to control a person's body, soul, and spirit, and mind. Number 3, the presence of soul tie covenants. And soul tie covenants are very powerful. And soul tie covenants will link us to the next point. 4th point, the presence of metadata. When you create soul tie covenants with somebody or with multiple partners, there is so much exchange of spirits, there's so much exchange of toxicity, of negativity. And what happens is you store the person's metadata of every experience you've had with the person. And since we're talking about sexually, you will store the person's sex positions, orgasms, aura, penis size, the image of their penis size, the vaginal length, all the sex positions, or their high libido. It will be in you. And as you move from one relationship to another, you are looking for what is better than the other, and you are directly and indirectly comparing. Now, what happens is when you get married, it wouldn't stop. You will still be comparing the man's penis with your ex, your husband's penis with your ex, his breath, his body smell, his aura, his facial hairs, his body hairs, his chest hairs. You'll be comparing his balls, his orgasms, how long he spent time with you in bed. In fact, his sexual refractory period, how long he can hit you. Women will be comparing the high orgasms and a lot more. Men will be comparing how deep the woman is, how juicy she is, how her perky her breasts are, her body shape, all of those things. That metadata stays in you. And just imagine if you sleep with 15 women, 20 women, 30 women before you get married, you are messed up as a man. Same with a woman. If you sleep with 50 men, 20 men, 2, 3 men, you are messed up as a woman. You will find it very difficult to connect with your spouse. And even when you get married, you wouldn't have joy in that marriage. You wouldn't enjoy it. You will have sex and have orgasms, and you would have an ejaculation, female ejaculation and male ejaculation, but you will not have joy. It is stolen out because you are still looking for something that you found before. And this is why we were created to be with just one person. And trust me, it helps. It helps. And a lot of people will say, oh, it's a religious thing. It's a Christian thing. It's a this. Trust me. And some people will be asking, Gwen, are you the one who is bringing all these rules? No, a moral society does that. And this is why the government has its rules in place to make sure there's a moral society, there's integrity in the society. The schools do that as well. In fact, even at home, they try to bring you up in a moral and integral way so that you can be an upright and successful person. Number 5, little or no sexual satisfaction. You're looking for, more and more, and you keep going out. You start going out of marriage. You start having multiple partners. And the truth is, marriage does not stop a promiscuous person. It just amplifies it. Number 6 is it makes you less productive. The more people you sleep with, or if you sleep with people that you are not married to, legally married to, and when I'm talking about legal marriage, I'm talking about bride price. Some people will say, Gwen, is it a Christian thing? Let me be honest with you. No matter which culture you come from, which environment, which country, which ethics you come, you pay bride price knowingly or unknowingly. Bride price is the exchange of gifts from the one who is asking the hand in marriage to the girl's parents or to the spouse's parents. It is paid without you knowing. And there's nobody who has gotten married to their spouse without giving a gift to their parents. That gift is a bride price. You either paid it knowingly or you did it unknowingly. So that's what they call the legal marriage. If you have multiple partners out of marriage, you say you're married and you're having side chicks and side cocks, what happens is the blessings that are supposed to come into that marriage don't come into the marriage. You become less successful. You may think it's just one time, but you will do it again. Once you start, it never ends. If you'll be having premarital sex, it will take grace to make you stop it. You become less productive. You don't reach the apex of your life. Look at those people in your life or who you've heard who were sexually pure or who are sexually pure. You will notice that they have reached the apex. They are able to achieve a lot. Sexual purity is very important. Your pure body, mind, and soul. There's a difference between abstinence and sexual purity. Abstinence means you abstain from any physical activity that involves sex, but you may still be watching porn and you may be masturbating. That's abstinence. But sexual purity means no masturbation, no pornography, no kissing, no oral sex, vaginal sex, or penis sex, or anal sex. Nothing. You don't think about it when it comes to shut it down. I'm telling you, I've counseled people and I've met people who are in their sexual purity journey and they're achieving wonders. I have met people who have stayed with one partner in marriage and they are at the peak of their lives. Everything is wonderful. And it's easy for them to solve problems that come up. Is when there are misunderstandings, they can get together, they can talk about it. Number 7, sex is so deep that it can block your blessings. Who you sleep with matter in life. Have you ever heard somebody ever say that since I slept with this person or I had sex with this person, things have changed in my life? Like worse things have happened to me? Like my life has been going downwards? I've lost my happiness. I've lost my joy. Have you ever heard somebody say this? You know, the job I used to get, I don't get. The money that comes into my business doesn't come anymore. Have you ever heard somebody say this? Have you ever heard someone say that since I started sleeping with this person, my mental health has dropped? My memory has dropped. I no longer retain stuff. Yes, it's possible. Number 8, sex has a very strong binding power. It has a very strong controlling power. And it can bring depression, self-pity. It can bring down someone's low self-esteem because it will start making you think that you're not worth it. Because every time you sleep with somebody, you give a piece of you to them. You release a piece of you to them. At the end of the day, you feel empty. And this is why if you look at people who choose this as a profession, they basically are empty. Have you had a conversation with a man or woman who are doing prostitution or who are maybe not as a profession, but who are having who have had multiple partners? Look at the works of their hands. Look at their productivity. Look at how they feel about themselves. If you ask them deeply, they really want to change, but they don't know how to change. I want to conclude by telling you that who you choose to have sex with matters a lot. And it is better you have sex in marriage when you're married to the person than when you have it with multiple partners. Before you have sex with somebody, make sure you're married to the person. And before you get married to the person, understand the person, the way the person thinks, their morals, their value, their vision for life, the kind of spirit they carry. Because once you have sex with them, it would influence you in every way. Every way. You may think it's just 1 second, but in every way. And for those who are asking in their head, like, okay, if I want to get married, how will I know that this man or this woman, we are sexually compatible? Very valid question. But the truth is, sex isn't love. You can actually enjoy intimacy and love with somebody even without penetration. If you love somebody, you will do a lot to accommodate and adapt the person. I know some veterans' wives and people who have been injured and their sexual function is not what it used to be before, but they are still with their partner and they are still faithful to their partner. Sex is controlled in the mind. Train your mind and your body will follow. Thank you for joining me in today's class. I remain your seasoned medical professional, Gwendolyn Hale.